I don't pay attention to anybody else. There's too many young guys in the group. I tell all the fast guys to go down to the other end. Chase, Cedric. As long as I make my times, kind of. All right, what do you got?
It looked like Matt Rhule left early today. What happened?
Yeah, just I think he just got some back tightness. So he's actually not going to be here tomorrow anyway. He was excused for personal thing for him months ago. So I just said, hey, get him inside, get him treated, because he's going to have to get on a plane here soon. And,
How about Robbie? He missed again. So.
yeah, he has a personal issue back in Florida he's dealing with. So hopefully we'll get him back here soon. But I told him, to me and family and stuff like that's more important than anything else. So I said, hey, go handle it and come on back when you can.
It looked like Terrace was getting a lot of the snaps he got when he was out here. Has he advanced that much so far?
I think Terrace is doing a good job, trying to move him around. I've been really pleased with Shai Smith. I think one of the standouts of camp so far has been C.J. Saunders. I always pay attention to the quarterbacks. I think they love throwing him the ball. They know he's going to go get it. Omar Bayless. I think we've had a lot of guys, so. But, yeah, we're trying to force-feed Terrace and bring him along as fast as we can.
What do you notice about the competitiveness of the team when you have these more goal line, short yardage type practices?
Yeah, I think there's two things. You come off a day off, and a lot of teams usually can come out lethargic. I'd say last week, after a day off, I wasn't too pleased. I think, secondly, when you say, hey, it's going to be live goal line, it's short yards, it's 9-on-7, it's team run, you find out a little bit about your team, right? Do they push back or do they accept it? I mean, our guys at the end, the ones were screaming to go out there again. So, it's live goal line. They got their 4 reps and they wanted one more shot. So that part of it I like. We have a lot of things we have to work on, but that part of it, at least today, I liked.
Matt, have you kept in touch with Robbie, or did you just sort of tell him?
Oh, yeah, I talked to Robbie, and really Frizz, Frizz has been coaching him for a long time, so Frizz talks to him. So, I mean, all of our guys, when they go through things, I stay as in touch as they want me to. They don't need me to be invasive, but they need to know that I'm always there.
What do you learn mixing, first, second team guys all in together today? I guess you did a lot of that today.
I think we do that. I think we do that all the time, really. The only prerequisite is you can't put a guy in with the ones who's going to get somebody hurt. So if a guy show that they can practice, well, I mean, a lot of guys just need an opportunity. And so a guy like Daquan, we go live goal line. Maybe I give him 2 reps, then put Bravion in as a 1, see what he can do. Then I maybe put Phil Hoskins in. So I want to give guys opportunities to show what they can do, and that's kind of always been our philosophy. Just get guys in there and maybe someone flashes.
Who's a guy who I guess you probably didn't think you could give responsibility to when this camp began, that you're saying, okay, maybe I can actually throw some things on this guy?
I wouldn't say there's anyone I didn't think that. I would say as always, there's a couple guys flashing at camp. I mentioned C.J. Saunders. I don't think if you come out to a practice, I don't think you've been at a practice where Sean Chandler hasn't batted a ball or intercepted a ball. He plays with tremendous energy. When he makes a thud or something, you can see the whole defense comes running out. I think they feed off that. But I think for the most part, most of our guys, that we're expecting a lot from, they're coming out there, they're being pretty consistent. Julian Stanford's a guy that, his primary role last year was as a special teams player, and really a special teams captain almost for us. And he's playing linebacker for us right now, and he's showing that he deserves to be in the mix. So, a lot, we'll find out a lot going through joint practice and the game this Sunday. But as of right now, those are a couple guys maybe that flashed.
Matt, has anyone stood out to you in the backup running back competition there?
I think Rodney Smith has looked really, really quick. When he came here last year, the poor guy was just coming off of COVID, and then we released him, and then he came back in the middle of the season. He looks really quick. I think Chuba's done a lot of really good things. Spencer Brown, I think he's a guy that we'd keep an eye on. Darius obviously being out right now. So I would say I'm pleased with the group, but I couldn't tell you who's ahead of who. I think a lot of it is, young running backs. I want to see them have to pick up blitzes with the quarterback when it's live, and I want to see them, run the football. Like we put one on the ground in the goal line there. So the games will be vital for those guys.
We see Dan Arnold make a lot of catches out here. What do you see when you look at the film on his whole game?
Same thing. He's obviously not a point of attack blocking Y, and so he has to be a functional blocker and a willing blocker, which he is. And I think we're doing a nice job, and just doing a nice job of utilizing him that way, so that when he's on the field, it's not always a pass. So I think he's working on that part of his game, but I think he does the nuances of the game at a high level. He's been around some good coaches. He's been around. He was talking to me the one day about things he's learned from like Larry Fitzgerald. Just he's been around some guys who've modeled him like that. And then, he's as he said to me one day, he came up from Division III football. He's grateful for everything he has and grateful for every opportunity. So he's when you hear us talk about the brand and things like that, that's kind of what they look like right there.
Man, with Davion Nixon, how has he looked through a couple weeks of camp? I know for rookies a lot of time it's a lot to throw at him. How's he responded?
He might be the best singer of all the rookies. Beautiful voice. Him and Thomas Fletcher, beautiful voices. Davion Nixon, I've been very pleased with. I think he's shown some quickness. I think he's shown some explosiveness. The key is, and we talk to our guys about this all the time, who can handle the volume, just the repetitive nature of training camp. And so heading into this, third week, we'll see. But I've been pleased with Davion.
What are you noticing with Brady Christensen's progression?
He was good the other night, the other afternoon when we ran all those plays. He's a guy that, we're going to continue to try to get on the field. Very mature, can pass set. I think he's a really good prospect.
Matt, a week and a half, I guess, of seeing Sam, how would you evaluate how he's looked?
I think he's looked very comfortable. I think he's, for a guy that there's a lot of questions about, decision making. I think he's made a lot of really good decisions. He's a grinder. He's coachable. So I've been nothing but pleased with Sam. I think when he does something that we don't want and we tell him right away, it's got it, and just moves on. So I'd say thus far, I've been very pleased.
Obviously, that's a leadership position, but he's a new guy. How do you balance him trying to take lead of the team while still trying to get his own game? Yeah,
I've challenged him just to get his own game right. We have plenty of guys like that, and I think as the quarterback, as he starts to produce, as he makes plays, invariably guys listen to him and follow him. My challenge to him has been, hey, lead by being the first guy on the field, lead by always knowing what to do, lead by being the most coachable, and I think he's done that. So, there's going to be some good days, some bad days, but for the most part, we have a lot of good days so far.
Any more questions? Said there was some horrid singers out there too.
Say that one more time.
Chris said there was some horrid singers out there too. So
Yeah, we've seen some bad things, but there's been a couple of hot spots, high spots. So, and that includes the coaches too. We make all the rookie coaches. We invite them to sing. So we've had some bad coaches too.
how about you?
I think I did it last year. It's on a tape. So he has it on a tape somewhere hidden. I probably wasn't very good.
What's your song of choice?
I don't even remember. I don't remember what I did.
I don't remember what you did either.
So
Couldn't have been
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
forgot it.
yeah. Very unmemorable. So, all right, thanks guys. Great to see everybody.
Coach. In terms of making sure that you have everything down pat.
Yeah, it's pretty similar offense from what I was doing in New Orleans. Obviously, Joe came from there, and I was with Joe in New Orleans, and it's pretty similar. So I think it was pretty quick study. So.
How about chemistry between you and Sam right now? It seems like it's starting to develop a little bit. What have you seen?
Yeah, I think it's. I think being at Wofford definitely helps with that chemistry. Spending a lot of time after hours, just kind of hanging out, getting to know each other. But then also, just spending time on the field, working on certain routes, things that we want. Talking after, getting good routes on air is the big one for us right now. Is just talking through. Okay, where do you want the ball? Where are you thinking you're going to put it against this defense? Stuff like that. And it's good that we've had a lot of time in practice to be able to hash things out like that. So I'm pretty excited for what's going to happen.
A goal line short yardage day, this is like your Christmas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that we can definitely take advantage of this season. We got a lot of different personnel that we're going to take shots, and we're also going to be able to run the ball. It'll help.
As far as your catch radius, it feels like anytime something's thrown your way, what have you done to try and improve basically the ball's coming your way, more resulting catches?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I learned when I came into the league was just attacking straight at the ball. It's always going to help you to break away from defenders and make them play through your body. I think that's the key at the next level is being able to attack the ball rather than just kind of let it get into your body. just using the length at all times and knowing how to use your body, how to block people away from the catch, so that you don't really have to worry about those guys getting hands in to break away balls.
How much of last year's, I know you weren't here, but how much of last year's film of this offense did you study? And if you did, why do you feel like the tight end just never became a big factor in it?
You know, to be honest, I don't really know how to answer that question. I watched, some film, but, we're always watching defensive film during the season, so I don't really, we'll pick a couple plays here and there from stuff we see, but I mean, that's something that they dealt with last year, and hopefully we turned it around this year.
So why are you the guy to change that?
I think with the comfortability that I've had with the offense, like I said, I spent 3 years in New Orleans. I know what the tight ends can do, especially when you have a guy who can stretch the field. That's kind of what I bring to this offense and what I like to use to my advantage. But then also just going out and making, any play that I can, just telling Sam, put the ball up there somewhere and I'll go get it. And that's kind of, that other factor that you don't really throw into any equation sometimes. So just that's my play style. That's what I like to do, and that's what I like to bring to the offense.
Dan, knowing the role that the tight end has in this offense, is that kind of part of what made you want to come to Carolina? Was that at all like a factor?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when I talked to my agent when we were looking at signing here, I told him, hey, I know Joe. I'm very comfortable with him. I know what he's going to try and do. I know how he can work the tight ends in the offense, and I thought it was going to be a really, really good situation. But then also trusting myself that I can become, the Ben Watson kind of guy back in New Orleans, Jared Cook, Jimmy Graham, those guys that played really well in that offense. That's kind of the next step for me, and that's something that I want to push myself to be every single day.
Yeah, and Matt just told us that you kind of told him that Larry Fitzgerald's someone who gave you some tips, and what kind of stuff did you learn?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at kind of Larry started out as like that outside speed guy, and then as he progressed throughout his years in the league, he kind of molded into that move kind of guy. Like he was doing some dirty grunt work when you're running your duos and gap schemes and stuff and coming in and blocking, but then also playing from the slot, being able to create some mismatches on some smaller DBs. And he, Larry was just a really good inspiration for me of how best to, carry through whenever you're down and really just focus on playing the game and play it at the mental level that you want. I had a lot of talks with him last year and learned an absolute ton from him on just how to stay leveled, how to compete, and how to stay in the game no matter what's going on. That was kind of the biggest thing I took away with him.
How would you rate yourself as a blocker?
Blocker needs improvement, and that's all there is to it. I think each and every day I come in here and I need to get better, and that's something that I try to get better at no matter what. And I don't think whether I play, one more year in the league or whether I play 10, it's something I'm gonna have to get better at every day.
How much of that is just kind of a motivation to make sure that, when you're on the field, they don't think it's a pass and vice versa?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I want to be the guy that can do it all, and that's where I see myself at. I think I would sell myself short if I don't think that I'm not going to tell myself I don't have the ability to block somebody. And it's really comes down to grit, whether you have the attitude to do it. Technique is always going to be one of those things, but it's a mentality thing. And that's the mentality that I have, and I approach the run blocking game. But like I said, there's always stuff you can learn. There's always things you can pick up from other players, and it's going to be a journey. No matter how long I play in the league, it's always going to be something that I'm going to work at.
We all saw how explosive New Orleans has been in that offense. A lot of the pieces they have. Look at the pieces you have here compared to what we're down there. How comparable?
Yeah, I mean, you can compare apples and oranges. You can compare two teams to another, but I think it really just matters about us. I'm not really worried about, teams that they did in the past or New Orleans, and Joe isn't worried about, what they did in New Orleans either. He's right here and now, and I think we just want to do the best that we can with the personnel that we have and put different players in the situations that they need to be in order to be successful, whether that be me, whether that be anybody else in this offense. So I think it really comes down to what we're doing, and I'm excited for it. I know Joe's putting in his own wrinkles, what he wants to do and how he sees the offense going. And, having Sam just gunslinging, that's the best part about the offense.
Dan, I believe a couple days ago, Darnold yells in the camera, Darnold to Arnold. Are you as big of a fan of that campaign as he is?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll probably hear it a lot, and it's kind of a joke too, but at the same time, it's kind of funny how things work out like that. And I'm sure it'll get confusing for the announcers and people watching too. Probably question what the heck is going on the field, but it'll be a real thing.
Does it feel like you're developing kind of an early chemistry, the two of you, and do you want that and look forward to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, we're spending a lot of time both on and off the field getting to know each other. He's a really great guy, easy to get along with, and he's just a kind of laid-back Cali boy, but he just loves to throw the ball, and that's all you can ask from a quarterback. But yeah, no, getting to know him really, really well, and I think being in Wofford helps that. And we just have so much time to just be together, spend time, and really work on everything on and off the field.
Last one, David. You on? There you go.
I was going to ask if you could say Sam Darnold to Dan Arnold 3 times real fast.
I probably could not. I would probably gum it up completely.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
What stood out with you over the last couple weeks playing with this defense?
Just everybody's getting better, day by day. Feeling like we're knocking out more of the small mistakes, which will allow us to focus on the bigger things, which is technique and things like that. But I feel like everybody is understanding the playbook as of right now, and as of right now, I'm not seeing that many assignment errors.
I know a lot of game as a pass rusher is building off each other.
Mm-hmm.
How much have you and Brian and Derek and the rest of the D-line and linebackers tried to learn each other's game to build off each other?
I talk to Brian the most. So me and Burns, man, we literally talk every day about pass rush. We've been coming out early, working on stuff, staying out a little bit later after practice, working on things, things about what I saw today in practice, what he saw today in practice, just working on our game and trying to be better, which is you want to see that, right? Because at the end of the day, even though it's some competition, we are still on the same side of the ball, still a team, and we both want to eat. So.
Do you think it's going to be any internal competition to see who can get the most sacks?
Oh, most definitely, man. We already made a bet. Whoever loses owes the other a go-kart, so or like one of the little golf carts. So definitely, it should be fun. I hope I'll be seeing him at the end of the year. Get mine.
With a new golf cart.
Yeah, with a new golf cart.
Hassan, we've watched Dan Arnold make a lot of plays these first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You were with him in Arizona. What did you see about his game? Are you seeing a lot of the same things here or more?
First time I seen Dan in Arizona, he made a catch, and immediately we got to get you in the game. Man, the guy, he tall guy, can go up and get it, explosive when it comes to jumping. Really good route runner. Dan, I know he's gonna make plays this year. But I love his game, man. Like I said, he's explosive. He can jump high. He can go up and get the ball, and that's what you want, right?
What's a Jeremy Chan? What have you seen out of him so far? And I'm just trying to say, he did what you're doing last year a lot. Now he's back playing safety. Could you do that?
Just looking at Chen, man. He's always running to the ball, high energy guy, young guy with a lot of energy. Basically, he's our racer. When bad plays is, when the ball breaks or it hits, he's there to stop it. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. Young, full of energy, ready to go. He looks good, and I'm excited to see what he does this season as well.
Hassan, when you guys go live goal line today, Matt talked about there's a different energy.
Mm-hmm.
The ones we're asking for more reps. What's it like in camp when you know that's coming and that's the thing on the script that day?
Goal line is a man's game. The game itself is a man's game, but goal line is a man's game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no way around it. It's a battle, and who can get the most push. So the fact that we were out there competing, going live, you love to see it because you don't know how many times in a year you're going to be on the goal line during the season, but when it happens, it's time to really bring it. Like, we got to get knocked back. We got to get pushed back for offense. We got to get in it. We got to get in the end zone. So it's a man's game.
Couple more guys.
Who caught your eye defensively in that goal line stand today?
Man, a couple guys. But for me, Patty Fisher, man. As the ones were off, and I got to watch what was going on. Patty was just coming downhill, man, and bringing it, and you love to see it. I think he might have made. I think he forced one. I think he had a forced fumble today, and I seen him make like 2 tackles after that in the backfield. So love to see it.
How much does the way this year is structured allow you to kind of be more instinctive with your game and not necessarily worried about rules, and you just go out and play football?
Play free, man. I could play free, which I had talked to with Snow, Coach Al, Saravo, those guys before I came here, was basically about coming here and letting me do what I was successful at in Arizona last year. And the fact that I'm here and I'm able to actually do these things is love, man.
Any more questions, guys?
And Phil Snow, you've known him for a while now. So how would you describe him, and what did you see him doing here that may be similar or different than what you saw in him?
Snow, man, he's the same to me, man. A knowledgeable guy. Really football guy. Like the most football guy I know. Eat, sleep, breathe football. And he's always been a smart coordinator. He's always been good at taking the pieces and putting them in the best place. Never playing checkers, always chess. And I love him as a DC. I love him as a DC. As I stated earlier, before I came here, I talked to him, asking, what would I be doing, and as easy as could be, the things that you do best. And that's all. That's a guy like me. That's all that I want to hear. A guy who was out of place for my first 3 years. That's what you want to hear. Use me to my ability, use me to my strengths, and so far that's been happening.
Why a golf cart on the bet?
That was just a bet we made. It's a little hill. Nobody likes walking up the hill. It is what it is. But I think it's cool, to have a stylish golf cart, customized for you, for training camp or maybe for practice. He came up with the idea, and I loved it. I loved it. I think I could look real good. In a golf cart, kicking back cool.
Any plans for how you deck it out?
I haven't thought about it yet, but if I win, I'll definitely be texting him everything that I want. I want a speaker. I want 22-inch rims on it. Nah, I'm playing. But I love it, man. It'll make the season fun, and it'll push both of us to the top of our game.
All right, that's it, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
Appreciate it.
Mine?